All right, let's dive into Gladiator 2. Back to ancient Rome. Gladiators, political intrigue, and a story that feels connected to the first Gladiator movie. We've got plot details, character stuff, and even some real history to unpack.
You know, what's interesting about this sequel is how it really digs into Roman history. Yeah. The story takes place 16 years after Marcus Aurelius dies, and things are pretty messy. Power's changing hands all the time. Rome is now ruled by two emperors, twins actually, Geta and Caracalla.
Yeah.
Let's just say the rule wasn't exactly peaceful.
Twin emperors. Uh-oh. That sounds like trouble. So where do we begin in this world of emperors and gladiators?
Well, we meet Hanno, a refugee from Numidia. His life is totally upended when the Roman army invades, the general leading the invasion, Acacius. The film doesn't hold back on the brutality of this invasion. Imagine having to fight baboons just to prove you're tough enough to be a gladiator. That's the reality Hanno faces.
Wow, that's a harsh reminder of what it was like back then in the Roman Empire. And if I understand it right, this experience is what drives Hanno to seek revenge against Acacius, the man who caused him so much pain. But while Hanno is fighting for survival in the arena, Acacius is dealing with his own struggles. He returns to Rome as this big war hero, but he's haunted by all the death he's seen.
Absolutely. Acacius wants peace. He wants to be done with war. But the emperors, they're ambitious. They have other plans. They want to expand into Persia and India, and they need Acacius to lead the charge.
So Acacius is stuck, his conscience versus the demands of these power-hungry emperors. And to make things even more complicated, there's this whole political thing going on, right? Acacius is married to Lucilla, the daughter of Marcus Aurelius, and they're both involved in a conspiracy against the emperors. That's a risky game to play.
Oh, it's a whole web of intrigue. And Hanno, well, he'll soon be known as Lucius, is right in the middle of it. He starts climbing the ranks in the gladiator arena. His fighting style reminds everyone of the legendary Maximus. But there's something else, a hint about his past. He quotes Virgil's Aeneid, which is interesting. Slaves didn't usually have that kind of education. It suggests there's more to Lucius than meets the eye, maybe even a connection to a world beyond the arena.
It's like a little clue leading us somewhere. And then, the big reveal. Lucilla, Acacius's wife, recognizes Hanno. She realizes he's actually her son, Lucius Verus. She sent him away years ago to keep him safe from Roman politics. But fate had other plans.
Yeah, but their reunion, it's not exactly a happy one. Lucius is understandably angry. His mother abandoned him. This resentment adds a whole other dimension to the story. Lucius is trying to figure out who he is, where he came from, what his place is in this crazy world.
It's like a Shakespearean tragedy almost, a mother trying to protect her son and a son who feels betrayed. And all of this is happening against the backdrop of one of Rome's most spectacular events, the Naumachia. For those who don't know, it was basically a huge mock naval battle staged right there in the Colosseum. Warships, gladiators, the whole shebang.
It was a show of force, Roman power, ingenuity,
Yeah.
but also their love of spectacle and violence. And during this chaotic event, Lucius tries to kill Acacius, the man he blames for all his misfortune.
So we have this mix of personal revenge and political intrigue, playing out on a massive scale. But even as Lucius is seeking revenge, he's learning about his real father, the legendary Maximus. He finds a hidden shrine dedicated to Maximus with his sword and armor. These aren't just weapons, they're symbols. They represent courage, honor, rebellion against tyranny.
It's a powerful moment. Lucius connecting with a past he never knew. It makes you think how much of who we are comes from our ancestors, from the stories we inherit.
It's a question that follows Lucius throughout his journey. He's drawn to his father's legacy, but he's also trying to find his own path, to reconcile who he was raised to be with who he's becoming. And as he gets deeper into this world of conspiracy and rebellion, he gets caught up in a plot to overthrow the emperors.
But like many plots in Roman history, this one involves betrayal. Thrax, a senator who's part of the conspiracy. He tells Macrinus everything. Remember him, the stable master who first saw Hanno's potential as a gladiator? Macrinus wants power. He resents the Roman elite.
And this betrayal has serious consequences. Lucilla and Acacius are arrested for treason. Acacius is sentenced to death in the arena, but then it gets even more twisted. Lucius is chosen to be his opponent. He has to face the man who represents everything wrong with Rome, the man who tore his family apart and caused so much chaos.
It's a huge moment for Lucius. He has to choose between vengeance and something greater, and his decision will have a massive impact on everything that happens next.
This is where things get really intense. Lucius is stuck in this horrible situation. He has to fight the man who caused so much suffering. But he's also the husband of Lucius's mother, and you mentioned he's wrestling with his own conscience.
It's heartbreaking. Lucius knows there's good in Acacius, despite everything that's happened. He refuses to kill him. But the Praetorian Guard, they only care about the emperors, not about what's right or fair. They execute Acacius anyway, and the crowd is furious.
Like a powder keg ready to blow. And who's right there to make things worse? Macrinus. He sees this chaos and he sees an opportunity. He gets Caracalla to kill his own twin brother, Geta. Even more instability, and Macrinus strengthens his grip on power. This guy's a real mastermind manipulator.
Macrinus is driven by power and revenge. He blames the Roman elite for everything bad that's happened to him. His rise to power is kind of like what happened with the Roman Republic centuries earlier. People exploiting chaos to take control.
So Macrinus is like a ghost from Rome's past, showing that even the biggest empires can be destroyed from within. But what about Lucius? He's lost another father figure, seen Acacius die, and now Macrinus is after him. How does he handle all this?
This is where the idea of legacy becomes really important. Lucius, with his father's sword and armor, he becomes a symbol of hope for the people who want a better Rome. He embodies those ideals of justice and courage that Maximus stood for. It's like Maximus's spirit is with him, giving him strength.
And it's not just symbolic, right? Lucius wasn't raised in Rome. He sees things differently. He's seen the empire's brutality, but he also sees its potential.
Exactly. That outsider perspective, combined with his father's legacy, makes him a powerful force. He understands that things need to change. Rome needs a leader who cares about everyone, not just themselves.
But change is never easy, especially in a system like the Roman Empire. Macrinus is clever and ruthless. He won't give up power easily. How can Lucius possibly win against him?
Lucius knows he can't do it alone. He needs help. Remember Ravi, the gladiator physician who told Lucius about his father. He's sent to find Acacius's legions, the ones stationed outside Rome. It's a risky move, a last-ditch effort to find allies who still believe in what Acacius stood for.
So, while the Colosseum becomes Macrinus' playground of cruelty, with Lucilla and the others sentenced to death, there's another battle brewing outside the city, a race against time, tyranny versus hope for a better Rome.
This parallel action adds a whole other level of suspense. Inside the Colosseum, Lucius leads a gladiator revolt. He's trying to save his mother and fight back against Macrinus. Outside the city, Ravi's trying to reach those legions, hoping for a bigger intervention.
Two sides of the same coin, both fighting against oppression, both wanting a better future. But they're going about it in very different ways. One's an uprising driven by desperation, the other a more calculated plan.
And both are extremely dangerous. The gladiator revolt is pure chaos, lots of bloodshed. Gracchus, one of the senators in the conspiracy, he's killed in the fighting. And Macrinus, he realizes he's losing control, so he does something shocking. He kills Caracalla, gets rid of the puppet emperor, and takes full control.
Ruthless, but I guess not surprising, knowing Macrinus. But that violence has terrible consequences. In all the chaos, Macrinus shoots Lucilla with an arrow. She's badly wounded. I can't imagine what Lucius must be feeling at that moment.
It's a huge turning point. Lucius has lost so much already. And now his mother, the woman he was trying to save, is gone. His grief and anger push him even further to take Macrinus down.
Macrinus realizes things are getting out of control. He flees the city, with Lucius right behind him. It seems like all hope is lost, like Rome is about to be consumed by darkness. But then a light appears.
Acacius's legions, the ones Ravi called for, they arrive. It's this incredible moment, a clash of everything this story is about. On one side, Macrinus and the Praetorian Guard. They represent tyranny and oppression. On the other side, Acacius's legions. They stand for honor, loyalty, a better future.
And in the middle of all this, there's Lucius, fighting for justice, wanting to honor his parents' memory. But he doesn't let revenge control him. Instead, he challenges Macrinus to a duel, a one-on-one fight to decide Rome's fate.
This duel is about more than just a personal grudge. It's about two different visions for Rome. Will it be ruled by fear, or will it embrace justice and unity?
And as Lucius faces Macrinus with his father's legacy on his shoulders, we're left wondering, can he possibly win? This is where we'll pause for now. But make sure to join us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll see how this epic conflict ends and what kind of legacy Lucius creates. We left off with this big duel, Lucius versus Macrinus, to decide the fate of Rome. You said it was like a symbolic battle between two different ideas of what Rome could be. So what happens?
It's brutal. They're both really good fighters. Years of anger, wanting justice, even though well, they have very different ideas about what justice means. Lucius, his style is almost like he's channeling Maximus. Macrinus is just fighting with pure rage, a lifetime of resentment and this hunger for power. It's twisted him.
Sounds intense. I can practically hear the swords clashing, them struggling for every inch. Who wins?
Lucius, he strikes the final blow. Macrinus' reign of terror is over.
But winning, it came at a cost, right? Rome is in ruins, so much violence, betrayal. Lucius has lost his mother, Acacius, so many people.
Yeah, a bittersweet victory. He's achieved his goal. His family is avenged. Rome is free from a tyrant, but so much has been lost. What happens to Lucius? Does he just walk away and let someone else deal with picking up the pieces?
Right, what happens next?
He doesn't abandon Rome. He steps up, not like some conquering hero, but like a leader who knows what they need is healing, unity. He reveals who he really is, not to grab power, but to give people hope. They've lost faith in their leaders. But he's the rightful heir, a descendant of Marcus Aurelius, a symbol of the greatness Rome once had.
Wow. So he breaks the cycle of violence and revenge, chooses a different path, hope, rebuilding, bringing people together. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even when things are at their worst, when all hope seems lost, there's always a chance for something new, something better. Lucius's journey, it's ancient Rome, but it's also about something we all want. Justice, leaders who are good, who use their power for good.
That's why this deep dive is so interesting. It's not just about gladiators and politics. It makes you think about what we believe, what kind of leaders we want, the choices we make when things are tough.
And it makes you think about the legacy we're all leaving behind, every one of us. What impact are we having? Are we adding to the division and violence? Or are we working towards a future where justice and compassion win?
Big questions, ones we hope you'll think about as you consider Gladiator 2. This movie, it's about a world that's long gone, but the themes, power, ambition, betrayal, redemption, those are things we still deal with. Maybe by looking at these struggles through history, we can understand our own world better, the challenges we face.
In the end, Gladiator 2 leaves us with this feeling of hope. This belief that even when everything's broken, something beautiful, something lasting can still grow. That's the most important thing we can take away from this. We have the power to shape our own future, to choose healing and forgiveness, to build a world where courage, compassion, and justice matter.
This deep dive has been amazing. So many twists and turns, and we learned so much along the way. Thanks for taking us through it.
Happy to do it.
And to you, our listener, we hope this deep dive sparked something in you, made you want to explore Gladiator 2 even more. Share your thoughts with us, what you think about the film. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.